testimony to the fact that the rolling time has caused rise and fall in his royal regime. The greatest man of his time had his utterance very basic. I came, I saw, and the greatest man, Julius Caesar, had his fall.
Even after his fall, his true admirer, Mark Antony, exposed him as a man without ambition. Let's see how far Antony succeeds in bringing out that truth. We now have glimpse from a particular scene of Julius Caesar, directed by Mr. S.P. Biswas.
Rome has got rid of Caesar. Brutus, what were you talking about, Antony? Greatly, and my fears finally turn out true.
But here comes Antony. We have no time to talk any further, Cassius.
Welcome, Mark Antony. Oh, mighty Caesar! Do you lie so low here? Are all your gains, your glories, your triumphs and plunder reduced to this little space? Goodbye. I do not know, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else is required to shed his blood? Who else is too strong? If it is myself, I shall never find an hour sufficient for me to die as Caesar's death hour. No instruments could be half so valuable as your shirts, enriched as they are by the most noble blood in the world. I beseech you, you bear hard feelings against me. Now that your red hands still steam with the blood of Caesar, carry out your wishes. If I live 1,000 years, I shall never be more ready for death. No other place will please me so well. No other way will be so good as to be here beside Caesar and slain by you, the foremost and the greatest spirit of our time.
Antony, you cannot see the motives of our hearts. They are full of pity. It is the pity for the public wrongs of Rome which has done this deed to Caesar. For if fire puts out fire, so as the pity puts out pity. We had for him, but as concerns you, our swords are as harmless as if they're made of lead, Mark Antony.
Antony, your opinion shall be as influential as any man's in making new appointments. Silence everywhere.
Yes, there must be silence.
And let us hear Mark Antony.
Yes, let us hear it.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, for here I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. As Brutus is, but as you all know, a plain, blunt man, that loved my friend, that they know full well, that gave me public leave to speak of him. For I have neither wit, nor words, nor word action, nor utterance, nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. Show you sweet Caesar's wound, poor dead mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony would put a tongue in every wound of Caesar, that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny.
Kanchi Now, classical and Western fusion. So, classical, before we start anything, we remember the god of success. And who is he? No one else. Ganapati Bappa Maurya. So, Vakratunda Mahakay, Surchakoti Samaprabha, Nirbighnang Kurmamadeva, Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu. So, this is the theme. And who is this Ganapati? Ganapati is the beloved, known and most worshipped Indian god. He is known as the remover of obstacles, the lord of beginnings, and the patron of all the arts. Ganesha is commonly depicted as having the body of a man and head of an elephant, with big ears and one single tusk. The elephant head is said to symbolize wisdom and secure intellect, while the large fan-like ears conveys that he is ever ready to listen to our prayers. The most remarkable feature of his human body is the big pot belly that symbolizes the bounty of nature and Lord's ability to solve all of our sorrows. The broken tusk that he holds as a pen in his lower right hand is a symbolic of sacrifice. Legend has said that he broke it off to write down the great Indian epic
Mahabharata. So now